8 episodes binged in one day, Netflix, baby! What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back to my channel. I just watched all 8 episodes of Season 2 of American Vandal. I'm very excited to talk about it. If you guys don't know how my movie reviews work, I like to talk about the good, the bad, and give you my score. I'm going to be doing the same thing here. This show stars Griffin Gluck as Sam and Tyler Alvarez as Peter Maldonado. And Season 2 starts out as Peter and Sam travel to a prestigious private high school in Bellevue, Washington to document the story of a filthy vandal called the Turd Burglar. This is such just an interesting and weird, and you hear it out loud, you're like, okay, how in the world are they going to make this work? Well, they made Season 1 work, and you guys know how that story went. Season 2, it's a similarly odd concept. So I start out with episode 1, I'm like, you know what, I'm really digging this so far. It's a cool concept, it's so strange, but just the way that they're handling it, the filmmaking and the acting and the way that they keep that documentary style, and I think Season 2 looks even better than Season 1, man. This thing is so cinematic and it feels like an actual documentary. Even the way that they do this pseudo real life thing, saying at the beginning of Season 2 how Season 1 went viral and is on Netflix and blah blah blah. They really know how to tie that in, and they're doing this thing where they're kind of breaking the fourth wall, but they make it work within the show. I love how they tied that in, and this is just the beginning in episode 1. I'm just excited to see our 2 leads back. I loved their chemistry and what they did in the first one. Now, this season doesn't explore their lives as much, and they don't get caught up in the conflict, which is understandable because they're at a new high school and they don't know these people as well, but they're still very prominent in the forefront, even though Sam sort of gets pushed to the side a little bit, but I'm okay with that because they are like the directors and the camera operators, so they're not necessarily supposed to be on screen all that much. But I have to be honest with you, at the end of episode 1, I'm like, I don't know how this is going to measure up to the first one. I don't know how they're going to give us so many twists and turns and make me think it's going to be one person when it's actually another person, but it's not actually that person, it's somebody else. But you know what? After I got to like episode 4, I realized, man, I am hooked once again. I have not stopped playing these episodes. I got caught up in the drama. I got caught up in how real it all was. And I'm sitting there trying to figure out who in the world is the Turd Burglar. And this season gets deep, man. It explores certain topics that I found very interesting, such as how athletes get treated a little bit differently than normal kids at school. How kids sometimes see things that other people are doing, they are treating them in the wrong way, yet that kid doesn't realize that he or she is being bullied. I love how they tackled that topic. And the biggest thing and most impactful thing for me, I think, is the evil that social media can bring to certain people's lives. Now, that doesn't get more prominent until the last couple of episodes, and I'm not going to spoil exactly what that was about, but they really hit that hard, especially the last 4 minutes of the last episode. They make you realize that kids are getting so caught up in social media, and this generation, I guess it's the generation that I'm a part of, constantly gets berated for doing things that other people don't see as wrong, yet our generation is the one that has grown up with social media, so our lives are kind of out there for people to see, and that's a difficult thing, especially for high school kids to balance in real life. And I love how they brought that to the forefront, and it literally made me sit here on my couch and think, wow, yeah, you're right. So yeah, the show gets deep, you guys know that, but it's also really funny. It makes light of certain situations that happen in real life, that happen in the show. They are so accurate. This is one thing I hate about like certain horror movies that have been coming out recently. It's like the text message noises and the way that people type and how somebody types so fast and it's so unrealistic. No, everything that happens here is pretty realistic. Something as simple as writing out a text in your notepad, that way you can read over it, kind of proofread, make sure that you're ready to send it. Yeah, they do that here. I'm like, wow, that is... I'm literally sitting there writing notes for this review on my notepad, so that's realistic. They used, and this isn't really a spoiler, you'll figure it out when you get there, but they used the iPhone glitch as a part of their evidence. Oh my goodness. You guys remember the iPhone glitch, right? When that was all happening, I'm like, oh man, this is so crazy. Why is all this happening online? They used that as part of the show. I was like, brilliant. Even something as simple as, oh, this guy puts a period after an emoji. He is a psychopath. He's a serial killer. I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, I've done it, but yeah, well. They also utilize the Catholic school setting really well. They have certain students that are way more religious than others, than some students that just don't care about it. And I'm just like, they could not have chose a better location or situation for all of this. And the best part of the show is exactly what hooked me about season 1 is like every time I thought I knew what the twist was going to be, boom, another aspect of the story comes around and makes me think that it's this person, and then boom, it makes me think it's somebody else, and they grab you in like episode 2 or 3, and they just take take you along the way, all the way until the end, and then they tie it all in, and it's like, what? I mean, I thought I knew that it could be that person, but I didn't think it would be that person, you know what I mean? I'm just like, what? Now we get into the negatives, and one negative I definitely have is I'm close, but I don't think this one is as strong as season 1. There's something about season 1. Maybe it's just like the novelty of this idea, and it's like, oh, this is so creative and new. It's a pseudo-documentary, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't as strong or as prevalent here, and I hate to compare the two seasons. I still think I prefer season 1, but season 2, man, it's really good. And I did want to see Peter and Sam more, maybe tie it in a little bit more to the first season, maybe explore their relationship just a tad bit more. I don't know what they would have done, but we were talking critiques, and I'm trying to find something. Can I say too many poop puns? Because you know the poop puns are coming because it's about the hashtag turd burglar, so I understand why they did them. But maybe they used one too many. It went a little over the top when it came to the puns, but you know. And I can understand how somebody will watch this and say, this is completely and utterly childish. I am not on board for this style of humor. It's such a ridiculous concept of a bunch of students suddenly having to poop, and they're pooping all over the place, and there's poop flying everywhere, and you've got these graphics being made about this situation. You see the behind the scenes. Okay. I get that. And maybe another critique is maybe their budget was a little bit too high in their heads because they're recreating some of these situations, and it looked like they even got the kids that actually committed the crimes to actually, you know what I mean? It's like it was kind of unrealistic that this was a documentary shot by those two kids, even though they had help. But they did say season 1 went on Netflix and that exploded, so I'm sure they got a bigger budget. I'm sure they could recreate these kinds of things, and their graphics were fantastic. But overall, guys, from an emotional standpoint, from a social standpoint, I would say that this season is even more of a complex story than the first, even though the novelty of the first one may make me personally like it just a tad bit more. But when I say just a tad bit, I literally mean and I've watched season 1 twice, so I might even have to go back and watch this again, but that is how good it is. I'm going to give American Vandal season 2 an 86%. It is such a great show, a great entry into the series. I cannot wait to see season 3. Bring back our boys, maybe tie it into the first one and the second one, bring back characters from both. I don't care what you do, but Netflix, keep making this show because it is one of the most inventive things I have ever seen. I love the style, I love the filmmaking, I love the way that it looks. I need to be quiet because I'm just gonna keep talking about it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Did you watch my Netflix movie review this morning for a movie called Bleach, which is a Japanese film? I'm going to try to get to the other 2 Netflix releases. I have to travel for the rest of the day, so it may not be today. It may be tomorrow later or even Sunday, but guys, I will try my absolute best to get to them. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you for everything. Thank you for my 8,000 subscriber video, for watching that and supporting it. I will catch you guys later.